Hello friends, how are you all? Hope you are doing great at various aspects of your lives. Retelling mythology from one's own perspective is in thing in the literary world of India nowadays. However, it is not that earlier there was no mythology retelling done. Actually, after analyzing the course, you can understand that retelling mythology was always there in Indian, that is Bharatiya culture. The original Ramayana or Ramayana was written by sage Valmiki, but the present and most popular version of the same was written by Sri Tulsidas ji. And in fact, there are various versions of Ramayana are found in various areas of the country. Some of them have quite different perspective. The famous Indian author Amish Tripathi has also mentioned this fact in many of his speeches. And it is not only Ramayana, you can find the same happen with Mahabharata or Mahabharata also. You can find a temple of Duryodhan in India, who is rather the main antagonist in the Ved Vyas Mahabharata. It is interesting to know that actually that temple ignited the need to look at the tale from a different perspective for author Anand Nilakanthan, and the result is his Ajaya series and Asura book. Author Devdutt Patnaik comes with books like My Gita and My Hanuman Chalisa, clearly indicating that they are not the absolute retelling but altered with author's own views and vision. And not to forget, now decreasing at a worrying speed, the tradition of hearing moral, ethical, and mythological tales from grandparents always fascinated children in India for generations, and they would have been changed to suit the mood, age, and nature of the listener. A lot of kids are grown up reading Amar Chitra Katha, which is once again adaptation of mythological and historical tales for specific readers. Recently, we came across a book on Vishwamitra by now famous author Dr. Vineet Aggarwal. Considering that the book will explore the tale of sage Vishwamitra from his perspective, I decided to give it a shot from our team, and I found the book quite interesting. Let me share my views on this book. Let us start with the cover page. No matter how many times it is said that never judge a book by its cover, or the fact that the saying is correct, it is human nature that most of us choose the book by its cover. Of course, there is book blurb, and nowadays you can also find a couple of chapters available for free to read. So it is not going to be a blind decision just based on the book cover. However, just tell me the truth. You might have experienced that a good cover page makes you go further to read the blurb or other content of the book. Then some smart readers go for book reviews also. Again, not all the reviews are unbiased and unpaid, but then also they gives you a fair idea about the book. The cover page of this book is quite interesting. The right mixture of red, saffron, white and black color showing the chiseled body of Vishwamitra via illustration of course, makes the reader give it a second look and you will realize that it is detailed. A good cover page indeed. The story of Vishwamitra is known to the majority of readers who grew up in a middle class family environment where listening to such bedtime stories is a habit. Of course, due to Ramayana, you must have some hint about the character of sage Vishwamitra otherwise also. And yes, people often remember the tale for the main guy episode. There was even a Hindi TV serial aired on Doordarshan titled Vishwamitra, where Mukesh Khanna played the protagonist. Don't worry if the tale is known to you, half known to you, or even unknown to you. The book starts from very ancient times, much before Vishwamitra or even his parents' time to give the background information. because each event happened now will affect the future anyway, and the present is thus a result of what happened in the past. We got to know about sage Ruchik, who came to King Kadi with a proposal to marry his only child, Satyavati. Ruchik didn't want to engage himself in the material world and domestic life, but his father, Sage च्यवन's order cannot be offended by him as an obedient son. Being the only child of King, Satyavati was to be next ruler of the kingdom of Mahodayapur, and if she will get married to a sage, she is going to live with him in the jungle, who will then take care of the kingdom and the citizens. Ruchik came up with a genius solution. By utilizing his knowledge of herbs, science, and spiritual powers, he prepares two pots having a mixture within to drink at a specific time, one for each Satyavati and her mother Ratna. They both are eventually going to conceive baby boys, solving the problem. The son of Ratna will become the heir of king and will administer the kingdom, and son of Satyavati and Ruchik will be a sage and eventually an advisor to his maternal uncle. By knowing the plan, Ratna thought, whenever someone prepares more than one stuff, usually he or she keeps the best for himself or herself. She considered that Ruchik must have thought better of his own to be son and his to be brother-in-law. And actually, a better person needs to be a king. So, she insisted her daughter to change the pots before drinking the potion. Oof, the human nature. Unknowingly, the swapping of pots changes the fate of both the boys, clans, and the mankind to an extent. The boys grew up to be Yamadagni or Jamadagni, whose son ParshuRaam or Ram is considered as an avatar of Vishnu and Vishwarath. How will Ruchik react when he knows the fact? How Vishwarath and Yamadagni will grow and what they will become in their lives? What will make Vishwarath Vishwamitra? Well, you need to read the book to know more. Retelling mythology is not an easy task. Not only that the story you are going to tell is already known, but also the fact that there are so many books in this genre are flooding in the market. So you can survive only if you have something unique to offer. Vineet's decision to talk about Vishwamitra, a less talked character, of course, comparatively to Ram, Krishna, Shiva, ParshuRaam, and others, is quite thoughtful. Another positive thing he did is infusing science in the mythology. By the way, you can see such infusion in many other books like Ancients of Greater Bharat by Colonel Mohan Vizikat. While you can see the infusion of science in the mythology in this book at many places, the grand plan at the climax has it in a reasonable amount. The other thing I like in the book is the characters. Nobody is perfect, and no matter who one is, his or her karma and destiny plays a vital role in deciding his or her course of actions. While devas are worshipped in the society and one considers them perfect, and or the life in the Swarg or heaven is perfect, the ancient scriptures talk about non-positive things about devas as well. The author makes the character more real by showing both positive and negative sides of the same. The way at the beginning of the book he explores the story by declaring lineages, we got to know that the author did a remarkable research and the story is going to be written in such a manner that you will be able to connect the dots. I also like the way the king used to tell a bedtime story to his daughter Satyavati. One more thing I admire about the book is the way the author handled the Menka's seduction chapter of Vishwamitra's life. It is possibly one of the tough things to write about. Many few know that it was not just an incident. They remained together as a couple for around 10 years. The author could have taken the liberty to add adult content, which is seen these days in many books, but he is in complete control here. While there are so many pseudo-feminists there around us, and some of them are even writing books and adding anything in the name of feminism, this book has clearly shown what the gender equality is. Not only the character of Satyavati, but even the character of Menaka is strong. So the author has given the characters a chance to grow in their unique individuality, showing their limitations as well as strengths. So when you read the lines like, he likes to live life on his own terms and did not fancy a woman changing his lifestyle, and if rumors were to be believed, they had a tendency to change a lot of things. You also got to read the lines like, truly there is no better happiness than getting the right partner in life. Was too engrossed in my own reluctance to begin a householder's life to pay attention to what my prospective bride may have in her mind. I cannot undo the past, but I can strive to give you a bright future. And when you read the lines like, civilization could only thrive if people rose above their individual greed and thought about the society as a whole. Yet it was so easy for mankind to return to its barbaric roots and destroy in a day what was built over decades. And lines that explore the emotions of the king about why people commit a crime, and about a few hours of the same incident, he also thinks that perhaps the love of one's own family and people is motive enough for one to commit a crime, however petty it may seem to some. Here are some of the lines about the king, his advisor, and kingdom that I found interesting. All were allowed admission, since the kingdom trusted its citizens and the need to provide security from the populace was never even considered. Remember, kingship does not imply lordship over your subjects. It implies hard work and tough decision making, sometimes even at the cost of your personal happiness. Running a kingdom requires as much showmanship as real capabilities. For a king might make an error of judgment, but his advisors can't afford to be wrong ever. First challenge as a king to make sure his council was in complete agreement with him. Here are some character defining lines from the book. After all, there is a limit to one's physical capacity, but none to the powers of the mind. After all, a man's actions make him what he is, not his thoughts. Their guru had changed not only their external forms, but also caused a transformation within their hearts. Some philosophical lines, or rather say lines of wisdom that balances the reality and idealism, are also found in the book. Their eyes were full of dreams, and they both hoped reality would be as beautiful as they had imagined all these years. It does take a lifetime of experience to be able to find a way that is beneficial to the majority, for someone will end up losing no matter what you do. One could become a true renunciate only after discharging all one's responsibilities towards this world. However much importance one gives to free will, in the end he cannot escape the hand of destiny. Little did he realize that life has a way of turning things upside down and changing the proverbial lock just when it seems you have figured out the key to it. And yes, the characters are strong. It explores that when one is right, one can stand by his thoughts. A Brahmin has no obligation towards any Kshatriya unless his actions merit respect. The way the land is referred as Nabhi Varsh is interesting. I am sure you will enjoy the scenes where both the students are asked about a tricky situation and how their answer reveals their characters. Also, you will surely like to read the Guru's answer to such situation, be it the sports match or the war. The author puts the thing together pretty nicely. In addition to be a good writer, one needs to travel the places and imagine the situations and locations effectively for that. And the book doesn't disappoint you in that. The pace of the book remains almost flawless throughout and you will surely enjoy it. I consider the book as a mythological as well as inspirational read. And I can sum up it by referring to a statement from the book. Man's ultimate destiny was to become the master of his own destiny. Of course, there are some letdowns in the book as well. I read the Kindle version of the book and found some of the sentences are not coming smoothly. Some of them are breaking improperly and some of them are possibly autocorrected, having different words than you expect. The epilogue comes after the author's note and thus it breaks the flow. It should be otherwise. Well, telling more than this will spill the beans about the content of the book in a way that it will be a spoiler, and as you know, we at ThinkerViews like to provide spoiler-free reviews. So, what is the conclusion? Well, if you love mythology, you will love reading this book. It has more positives than letdowns. ThinkerViews rating, definitely 8.5 stars out of 10. So, have you already read the book? Are you planning to read it? What do you think about this book review? Do you find it helpful in deciding whether to go for the book or not? Please do share your genuine remarks via comments below. If you have enjoyed listening to the review, please hit the like button and do not forget to share it with your friends and other fellows whom you think such reviews interest more. Till we meet with our next podcast, bye bye, take care, namaskar.